they are supposed to help to develop the country. They are supposed to help to improve the indices of living of the people. And then pillar number 8 is indigenous content development and adoption. Today we're here with the MTN Foundation to celebrate people, and identify and celebrate people that have excelled in school and to see how they can be supported. We're supporting people that are living with one kind of disability or another, and it's really commendable. And you know, the thing is, right now in this part of the world, we focus a whole lot on degrees in preference to skills. One of the things the Honorable Minister is trying to promote is a situation where we elevate skills as well, because degrees are basically to endorse and to validate skills, not the other way around. So it's commendable that you're identifying people, and that, and like the chairman said, you know, yes, we're saying that we want to promote skills in preference to degrees, but we recognize the fact that, you know, when people have excelled in the pursuit of their degrees, it also shows some level of commitment, it shows some level of focus, it shows the level of diligence that they have to succeed. And so it's commendable that you have looked at the people that have excelled, and they have taken it a step further to empower them with tools and skills. And the pillar number 5 that talks about digital services, development and promotion, like I said, it talks about the issue of innovation and entrepreneurship. Yesterday, at the Federal Executive Council meeting, the Honorable Minister presented a memo where it's going to talk about the promotion of digital entrepreneurship and innovation, and the center is going to be set up in Abuja shortly. We realize that Nigerians are very talented, they are very skillful, we have a lot of digital natives, and we have young people. And it's a good opportunity for us to take advantage of their youth, take advantage of their innovativeness and creativity to come up with solutions that, you know, will be made in Nigeria, but will be recognized and celebrated globally. So on this note, I just want to thank the MTN Foundation, MTN generally, and to all the stakeholders for coming along to partner with MTN. And we're grateful that MTN is embarking on a lot of CSR. We encourage different stakeholders to support government through CSR activities. And this is a model that we're proud of. Thank you very much, and have a very wonderful event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Femi Adeluyi, Technical Assistant to the Minister of Communication, for that wonderful speech and for all the pillars that you mentioned. And God will help us all to be able to achieve each and every one of them and more. Wonderful. So at this juncture, I'd like to introduce the Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, ably represented by Dr. Francis Chizia, Acting Director General of the National Space Research and Development Agency, NARSDA. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. I bring you warm greetings from His Excellency, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, the Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, whom would have loved to personally be here to deliver his goodwill message, but had to attend to other state matters. However, he had given me a speech to deliver on his behalf, which I'll do shortly. It gives me great pleasure to be part of this epic-making event, especially at this crucial moment when our country is focusing on programs and activities that will engage the youths in schemes that will engender science and technology innovation in our efforts towards social economic development. Looking at the global history, there is no country that has achieved its desired goals in the area of development without special focus on science and technology innovations. Hence, the decision of His Excellency, President Muhammadu Buhari, on assumption of office to task the Ministry of Science and Technology to focus on developing indigenous technology that will promote growth in the nation's economy and positively impact the general well-being of Nigerians. These, among other things, have continued to be one of the cardinal goals and aspirations of the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology under my leadership, particularly in our effort to accelerate socio-economic development in line with the noble policy of the present administration. I am glad that MTN, in giving back to the society, has, through its foundation, set up a scholarship scheme to empower the youth and as well to drive science and technology. This is a welcome development and a commendable effort that other organizations should emulate as a strategic way of utilizing science and technology for youth empowerment as we walk the path of technological advancement for the growth of our nation. You will all recall that in 2018, His Excellency President Muhammad Buhari signed into law Executive Order Number 5, which seeks to promote the application of science and technology and innovation within the country. This is indeed a pointer to the fact that this administration is committed to its policy of science and technology for national development. Therefore, it is my belief that with private sector efforts and partnership in engaging the youth in science and technology, Nigeria will, in no doubt and no distant future, realize her full potentials. At this junction, may I humbly emphasize that Nigeria has no doubt come of age, and there is need for the Nigerian economy to be transformed from resources to knowledge and be innovation-driven. I must commend MTN Foundation for this noble initiative in empowering these scholars and by implication, driving our economy towards technological advancement, particularly in our collective efforts towards wealth creation. To the scholars and beneficiaries of this award, I congratulate you on this rare privilege and urge you all to take advantage of the opportunity for greater heights and to compete favorably with your counterparts across the globe. The world today is science, technology, and innovation driven, and Nigeria must not be left behind in this direction. Hence, the need for you to see this as a catalyst to lay a formidable platform for successfully run your race in the complex game of life in order to make positive impacts in a larger society sooner than expected. May I also inform you of the recent decision of Mr. President to grant scholarship award up to the directorate level to 3 best, most promising young scientists at the 2020 Science, Technology, and Innovation Expo under the 774 Young Nigerian Scientists Presidential Award. This administration strongly believes that prototypes of various innovation abound in the country, especially from the Science and Technology Innovation Expo, that can be developed by the organized private sector and commercialized so as to create wealth for the country in a bid to fast-track the move towards sustainable economic diversification of our great country. The federal government of Nigeria is determined to continuously work hard to make Nigeria one of the leading economies in our distant future, in no distant future, and no stone will be left unturned at ensuring that all hands are on deck with relevant stakeholders towards the realization of this dream and objectives. Once again, I congratulate the various scholars and commend MTN Foundation for this noble gesture and innovative contribution to science and technology development in Nigeria. Thank you for your rapt attention and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Francis Chizia, Acting Director General of the National Space Research and Development Agency, NARSDA. Thank you so much for that wonderful address. I believe there's so many nuggets in there for our young people to take from. And there's something that you said that actually really spoke to me, and that was about the private sector partnership and how MTN is at the forefront of that. And honestly, I really would love if every other company that we have in Nigeria would emulate that example, because truly it takes a lot of hands. It takes a village to raise a child. So therefore, it takes a lot of hands and strategic partnerships to bring our great country, Nigeria, forward. and utilizing our force, our workforce. We have so many young people in our our demographics show, so it's really important that we make sure the young people in our society are properly supported so that they can be truly the leaders of tomorrow. Thank you so much for all the remarks that we've had so far. It's been very enlightening. I'm learning a lot. Just as much as I'm hosting, I'm also learning. And I believe a lot of our young people here with us are also doing the same. So thank you so much to all our speakers so far. We've had a representative from the Minister of Science and Technology, which you just heard. We've also had a Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, also ably represented by Dr. Femi. So thank you so much for that, because it's really important that we are supported by all the pillars that it takes to get us to the promised land, as it were, which is a greater Nigeria. So thank you so much to everyone that has spoken. We're actually trying to see if we can still get the Minister of Education, but there's been some communication that there's a delay somewhere. So in the meantime, we're just going to make sure we go ahead and make sure everything is nice and smooth. And if they come on, then they can have some time for their remarks. So moving swiftly along, we have a fireside chat that's about to happen. Yes, that is next on the agenda. We have a fireside chat, and to help us do this, it will be moderated by Ms. Bolanle Olukani. Bolanle, take it away.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Dakore, for leading us and being the host for today. It's great to see you. I'm excited to be here, I have to say. I have to say a huge congratulations. First of all, Yellow, can everyone hear me? Can I get a thumbs up? Rolaka, can you hear me well? All right, wonderful, 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 wonderful. Wonderful. I have to say a huge thank you to the MTN Foundation for inviting me to be here. I am a huge advocate for education, and it's great to see a company like MTN really leading the way when it comes to ensuring that the future of tomorrow is being well educated and also providing some their education. They have the brains, they have the intellect, but sometimes life just hands you lemons, and MTN Foundation is in so many ways helping make lemonade out of what is happening currently in our society. So thank you for inviting me to be here. Now, as mentioned, we're going to be doing a very insightful fireside chat. My guests today are stakeholders, and in so many ways they have achieved so much in their lives. When you look at a panel and you see who you're going to be talking to, sometimes you kind of sometimes I got nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh wow, this is gonna be really, really exciting. But I think the key thing in terms of putting this fireside chat together was trying to make sure that we want all of the scholars who are here, we want them to feel like they are going to go home with education, with knowledge, with insight, with impact and influence, and knowing how to change society. And that is something that is very, very important to the MTN Foundation. And in addition, also asking ourselves, in what ways can the scholars be, as ready and prepared when it comes to ensuring that they have skill sets for exactly what it is that they're going to be doing. So without further ado, I want to make sure that all my panelists are here. And if you're a panelist, can you please go ahead and put on your video, and also you can actually go ahead and unmute yourself so that we can have a good conversation, and it's not just me talking to you guys, we can all hear each other. So if you're a panelist, please go ahead and unmute yourself. And all right, are all the panelists here now? Rolake, can you please go ahead and unmute yourself?
Yes, I'm unmuted. Hi, Balani.
Okay, you're unmuted. Okay. Yes. And Iniolua, you're unmuted. Dr. Johnson?
Yes, I'm unmuted.
Okay.
Hello,
and Honorable Minister, video on and unmuted as well. We'll just wait for the Honorable Minister to...
I think he's being represented, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we have him, the representative,
Which of the honorable
unmuted?
ministers?
And no, I'm actually talking about the Honorable Minister for Digital Economy.
I'm representing him.
Okay, wonderful. So we're all unmuted and we're all here. All right, so without further ado, I would like to introduce our panelists officially. I'm gonna first of all start with Dr. Omobola Johnson. Dr. Johnson, I'm a stan and I'm a fan. She is absolutely just an astute technocrat who in so many ways went from the private sector, went into governance and has gone back into the private sector. So let me just go ahead and give you some highlights from her profile that really resonated with me. Dr. Omobola Johnson is the senior partner of Telcom Capital. And Telcom Capital is a venture capital firm with a recent focus on deal flow generation, investment, and value generation in technology companies across the sub-Saharan Africa. Now, before joining Telcom Capital, Dr. Johnson was the Minister of Communication Technology in Nigeria from 2011 to 2015. And this is the part that really jumped out to me. She was part of the people for pioneering the involvement of the government in the local VC fund and a network of startup incubators. So in so many ways, what we see happening right now when it comes to startups and fintech, Dr. Omobola Johnson was part of pioneering that. So we have to say thank you very much, Dr. Johnson. She's also a founding chairperson and trustee on WIMBIZ, and Dr. Omobola Johnson has a bachelor's in electrical and electronic engineering from the University of Manchester. Thank you very much, Dr. Johnson, for joining us in this conversation. I know it's going to be very robust. I have a long list of questions that I'm going to be asking you. I just want to pick your brain, and I know that a lot of our scholars are going to be excited to hear from you. Next up, of course, unfortunately, the Honorable Minister isn't able to be here, but I'm just going to go ahead and read out a little bit of his profile, and I trust that we'll still be able to have a very robust conversation despite his absence. So the Honorable Minister, Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, he is, we'll call him the part of the youth. And he's been the Honorable Minister of Communications, and he's the first ever Minister for the Digital Economy of the Federation of Republic of Nigeria. Just a little bit insight on what the work that the digital economy sector has been doing. The digital economy sector, under the Honorable Minister, they've developed a national digital economy policy and strategy, and his success in industry has led to unprecedented changes in the country. Under his leadership, in addition, the National Broadband Plan to deepen broadband penetration in the country has moved forward swiftly. So we have to say a huge thank you to Dr. Pantami for that leadership. And we thank you very much, despite the fact that he's unable to be here, because we know he's ably represented and the conversation will still be very robust. Next up, we have someone that I absolutely admire as well, Rolake Akinkugbe Finani. Rolake, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Rolake is an accomplished professional, and she, in so many ways, has, when people understand what it means to be part of the investment sector and also to have a lot of career changes and different job roles, despite the fact that, she's really, really young. Rolake has had 15 years of experience and track record in terms of finance and investments. And in so many ways, she's been able to help a lot of businesses scale their businesses across the African continent. Rolake right now is working at Mixta Africa. And prior to that, she was a senior Africa advisor to the IFU Danish Investment Fund. Rolake, thank you so much for being here. Your CV is, it's very exciting to see a woman be in so many ways leading when it comes to investment and fintech companies, but also knowing fully well that, you're part of the top 275 global female influencer executives. And that was said in 2020 by UK's Women's Energy Council. Congratulations on that honor. And thank you for being here. Next up, I have someone who I know a lot of us are going to have a lot of questions for, Inyolua Aboyeji. He's the founder and general partner of Future Africa. Inyolua is the general partner and founder of Future Africa, which is a platform that provides capital, coaching, and community for mission-driven innovators building an African future where purpose and prosperity is within everyone's reach. He was also part of the team that started up Flutterwave and also Andela, and he's very passionate about governance and also making sure that Nigeria is moving towards a country where, our future is not going down the drain. We've had a very crazy year, and I'm just going to start with Dr. Johnson, because she's had such an astute career and in so many ways has moved from the private sector to governance, and now she's back in private sector. Dr. Johnson, going back and looking at your career, your early career, what are some values that you really held on to that you would be able to share with us, all the scholars, that you feel has helped you so much in terms of being so successful?
Thank you very much, Bonali, and it's really great to be here. Congratulations to the scholars. So what were the values? I think just a few, and they really are very simple. I think the first one was hard work. It's all about hard work. There are no shortcuts. If you want to have a successful career, you just have to work hard. You just have to put in the hours. I know it's not a common thing now, but that was the very first value for me. It's about hard work. The second thing was really about making the most of every opportunity. As you go into your career, you may not land your dream job in your first job after you get out of university, but you've got to make the most out of every opportunity. And that's really taking, the highs and the lows, rolling with the punches, just making the most of every opportunity. Whatever you can learn, you learn, and you make sure that you learn it and you use it, as you go to the next chapter in your career. The third thing I would say is really around, I measured my career in skills and not in time. And I say this because I talk to a lot of young people these days, and they say, I spent 25 years in Accenture, probably too long, and nobody does that now. But even in those 25 years, I wasn't really looking at the number of years I spent there. It was really around, what was I learning? Was I learning anything? Was I growing? Was I doing different things? Was I learning, or was I growing? Was my career making progress? And I say that because somebody says to you that, I have 7 years or 10 years experience. Now there's a difference. You can have 1 year of experience 10 times, or you can have 10 years of experience. There's a big difference there. And so what I say is that when I looked at my, right now it's probably an over 30-year career, every single one of those years, I've done something new, I've learned something new, I've done something different. So try and measure your career in skills and competencies and knowledge, and not in the time that you spend in a particular organization or doing something, or doing something. So for me, those are the three things: hard work, make the most of every opportunity, and measure your career in the skills that you're gaining, and not in the time that you spent in a company or the time that you spent doing one particular thing.
Thank you so much, Dr. Johnson, for that. I think it's the key word for me, at least. The one that really stood out is definitely hard work. And said not one of them would say that they have gotten where they are without as quickly as possible. So thank you so much for starting us off on that note. Now, this panel would not be complete if we didn't have someone from the MTN team who's going to be talking to us a little bit about, his experience, and also the role in which MTN has been playing in terms of making sure that there's insight, impact, and there's influence when it comes to providing opportunities for the MTN scholars. And when I was reading his profile, it was really exciting to see that there's a lot of Nigerians who are interested in the artificial intelligence sector. So our next panelist joining us as well is Olubayo Adekombi, and he's the Chief Transformation Officer for MTN Nigeria. He's an award-winning business executive, and he has 19 years of cognate industry experience, strategy, marketing, and analysis. Now, this is the part that I thought was really exciting. He's the author of The Future is Shared, an Artificial Intelligence Simplified for Starters. And basically, this is a book that teaches people about artificial intelligence, and it's for all beginners. He's done a lot of work at MTN, starting off specifically as, prior to becoming the Chief Transformation Officer, he was also the Chief Marketing and Strategy Officer at MTN. So thank you very much, Bayo, for joining us. I know we're going to have a robust conversation.
My pleasure to be here this morning. Good morning, everyone.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, so we're going to move on now to Rolake. Rolake, I want to talk to you a little bit about I'm going to talk to you about being a woman. I don't know if we have a panel and it's possible for us not to talk about the idea and how gender influences, specifically for us that are women, how it influences our career trajectory. In your opinion, what role did mentorship play in helping you get to where you are? And for the young people, what would you advise them to do when they're looking for mentors? And what do you expect from mentees?
Yeah, thanks for that, Bolanle. Great discussion. I think I could easily stand here and say that all my life I've always focused on, being competent and honing my skills. But the reality is, society around us does attribute certain elements or features of who we are to how they treat or embrace us. And gender can play a role. But I think I thankfully was lucky to have a family that supported my ambition, that paved the way in terms of the fulfillment of my aspirations. So, I had no problem in feeling like I was capable in whatever role I set my mind to. So the first point I would make, particularly for women, aspiring career women, is your competence. Lifelong learning is important. Your ability to self-master, understanding that it's a continuous journey. And it's really interesting because when you look at what has happened with the US elections, there was a post that was out on social media today, which I thought was really interesting, about the fact that Joe Biden started his bid for president when he was 45. He's now achieved that feat more than 30 years later. He's now 78. And in a society where a lot of premium has been placed on speed rather than progress, I think that is a timely reminder that you need to pace yourself. So as a young woman, I've always had a strong sense of urgency around impacting my world or fulfilling my career goals. But I have to realize that my own journey, it specifically has been unique. In terms of finding mentors, I think with mentoring relationships, when I graduated from university, the concept of mentoring as this structured thing that you do wasn't really around then. So there were just relationships I was looking to build. And I think it's a two-way thing, because you have to see that your mentor is potentially taking you on as a project, and you have to make it worth their time. And mentoring can only succeed where you're already a self-starter. And so it's important to bear in mind that mentoring is not going to transform or change your life or give you skills that you're already not willing to work on. It's really an enhancer for the journey that you've already set up for yourself. And I think finding mentoring is about actually building genuine relationships, not looking to take. It's not a zero-sum game where the ideas or the counsel falls on your lap, or they just give you unfettered wisdom. It's really about what value are you bringing to that relationship. And I think I would advise young people in general to seek out building genuine relationships where they bring something to the table. I think that would be my key advice. And you also have to realize that, life is a virtuous cycle. It should be a virtuous cycle. In the same way I was mentored, I'm also looking to pay it forward. So as you're getting the support, as you're rising in your entrepreneurial journey or your career journey, you should also be looking at how you can make a difference in the lives of others. And I think that's really key. The other point I wanted to make was really just around your willingness to pivot and change course. You have a plan and your willingness to be open-minded about changing course. And I think you alluded it to the beginning, when in my career journey, I've done so many different things, but there's been a consistency around my work ethic, my professional and personal discipline. But I've worked in financial services, I've worked in energy, I've worked in research, I've worked in international development. And it's just a willingness to be open-minded about how your route or your process to your end goal is going to pan out. It may not pan out how you initially expected, but with a bit of grit and resilience and support from mentoring and mentors, you can get there.
Yeah, thank you so much, Walaka, for those pointers. I want to say again to our scholars and to everyone watching, specifically to our scholars, this conversation is really for you. We have this panel of astute professionals who have had so many different experiences and journeys, and they're giving you insights on how they've been able to do it. In so many ways, you're getting expo. That's what we would call it. So please ensure that you're taking notes, and we're going to be having a Q&A after. So prepare for that so you'll be able to ask them a few questions. All right, I want to move on to Femi, who's ably representing the Honorable Minister of Communication and Digital Economy. Femi, I want to talk to you about, governance and what is your ministry currently doing to ensure that our scholars are going to be able to compete on a global stage? Digital economy is the next big thing. FinTech is the next big thing. When it comes to communication, everything we do is right here on our phones. How are you guys preparing us young people to make sure that they're able to compete on a global stage?
Thank you very much for your question. And thank you, Dr. Johnson and Rolake, for very nice insights from your discussion. You know, the ministry, so representing the government, realizes that we have a very large number of young people. They're enthusiastic, they are digital natives, or believe that, in order for them to be able to have the type of skills to translate their performance from a local level to a global level, it's important that we have a focused approach towards building their capacity. And that's why when I was talking earlier during the minister's speech, I talked about the fact that one of the pillars focuses on the issue of digital literacy and skills. So what are we focusing on there? We're identifying the important skill sets that young people should have. We're partnering with the private sector. It's important to note that government cannot do it alone. So we partner with the private sector, partnering with MTN. In this case, now we're partnering with IBM, with Nigerian Computer Society, Microsoft, and so on, to come up with courses that people can run, they can use to develop their capacity. Let me give you an example. When the president launched the National Broadband Plan on the 19th of March this year, he also kicked off what we call the Digital Nigeria program. And the initial plan was to, have a series of physical trainings for skills development for people. But we all know what happened shortly after that. We had the lockdown, we had the pandemic and all that. So instead of just allowing things to go, without any progress being made, we decided to move this training online. So we launched a platform called digitalnigeria.gov.ng, where we have from low-level skills to high-level skills, digital skills, where people can enroll for the courses and get their certificates within the comfort of their homes. So we've had probably like 100,000 people that have enrolled, and more than 70,000 people have received the certificates. So that's just one aspect of what we're doing. We're trying to get people to be trained, to have these skills, and then they can use those skills to create jobs for themselves, or to get jobs and work in places either within Nigeria or remotely. Another area is the issue of digital innovation and entrepreneurship. We know that it's one thing to have the skills, it's another thing to understand the business side of things. And so that policy that's going to actually be, the stakeholder engagement is going to take place next week, is going to look at how we can, almost re-engineer our students, re-engineer Nigerians to think about how they can, create jobs, think about how they can use their skills to have jobs, to get jobs within the country, to get jobs outside the country. So, and like I said also yesterday, during the Federal Executive Council meeting, the Federal Executive Council approved the creation of a Center for Digital Innovation and Entrepreneurship. So it just goes to tell you that we're focused a whole lot on the area of skills, and if after they've gotten the skills, we want to make sure that they have the business sense to be able to thrive in the sector. So those are the two key areas that we're working on at the moment.
All right, thank you very much, Femi, for that insight. It sounds as though some progress is being made. We're going to come back to you later in terms of talking about how, the rural communities are also benefiting from the need, and also there is such a huge lack thereof of their access to communication and access to the internet as well. But I want to move over to you, Bayo. I'm really just fascinated by your experience in artificial intelligence. I think it's fascinating. I know that, things like Siri and all these, little apps that we can talk to on the phone are part of artificial intelligence. So I want you to kind of just break it down for us, especially for people who are not familiar with what artificial intelligence is. You also mentioned in a Tech About interview that Nigeria lacks the talent, the research in the field of artificial intelligence and machine learning. So can you just give us some insight on how we can position ourselves for that and what the future looks like when it comes to that industry? Can you unmute yourself, please? All right.
Yeah, thanks so much, Bolanle. Well, as it sounds, artificial intelligence that is artificial. We rely on the computing power and the mathematical power of algorithm and statistics to build references from the past to be able to predict the future. And there are a lot of patterns that exist in our society, how it rains, the pattern of rain, number of people, pictures, images, even images from medical field, images from satellite. What are the common patterns that they share together? So artificial intelligence allows us to codify those intelligence, bundle them into a system of intelligence that allows us to do a lot of things. For example, when you look at a self-driven car, it's based on the fact that there's a machine that study movement pattern and therefore can codify that into an intelligence system that can guide a car to move based on body of numbers, statistics, and mathematics driving it. Now, what is important to us is the fact that this is going to shape the future. It is the epicenter of the old narrative of the fourth industrial revolution, where digital, biological, and physical will converge together and a lot of relevant solutions will be created. And that is why I'm very excited about this session and what we are doing at MTN Nigeria, where we are focused consistently on enabling science and technology. Because as a company, we are committed to leading the delivery of the bold new digital world. And when we talk about digital world, it's a world that is led by artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, data science, and many other capabilities. And all these capabilities are skill driven. They are not necessarily about certificate or degrees. It's about what you can do. And that is why my word to our awardees today, congratulations, you have gotten the scholarship. But what is more important is for you to know that this is a mean to an end. You must be aware that it's about applications, it's about use cases. Because the world trades on the currency of applications, not on degrees. It's about skills, it's about what you can do, it's about how you make the world a better place. Application is the king. The world of job has changed. And with the opportunity that has been given to you today, there must be a mental consciousness of how to harness the power of science and technology to make a difference in the world you live in. And the beautiful thing is that it's an open vista for everyone. For example, I know a lot of non-graduates today who are leading in innovation in science and technologies, working with top organizations. It will interest some of us to know that some global organizations do not even require a bachelor's degree again. Why? The world is looking for solution thinkers, solution creators. That is how the world is changing. And this is the mindset I want us to have, particularly in the age of artificial intelligence. It's actually about what you can do, how you can solve problems. Just to complement the other side of the questions, we need to be aware, based on the research that was done by IFC, that by 2030, that is in about 11 years' time, there will be about 200 million jobs that will be digital oriented. So the question is, who will do this job if we do not build the right skill of the future? And this is not the skill based on certificate. This is the skill based on what you can do. Hands-on, practical application, solution orientation that solve problems. And interestingly, as you said by PwC, also validate the same, that by 2030, the global GDP will grow by 14%. And the single biggest catalyst of that is going to be artificial intelligence. No wonder today in the world, particularly in the US, the number one fastest growing career, according to Glassdoor, is data science and AI. So what does this mean to our scholarship awardees today? You've got to be driven to translate your learning in science and technology into practical application. And artificial intelligence offers that big opportunity to make a difference in our world and align to the value of MTN to bring brightness to our communities.
Mm-hmm. Wow, Bayo, these are some key facts that you've given us. And I have to say, if you see me back in school and I've changed my career, please just understand that I'm trying to make sure that I'm preparing for the future. This is eye-opening, it's fascinating, it's exciting. But in so many ways, there is definitely a mountain to overcome to make sure that all the scholars, young people who are coming up, behind us, they're going to be ready and positioned in a way where they can compete on a global scale. Inyolua, you've done this, I'm really excited. I want, and I hope our scholars are going to be able to understand that when we're talking about building, fintech and also building companies that have to do with digital economy, it's not an easy feat. You've been part of the process of building, setting up Andela, Flutterwave, two companies that are doing amazing things. And now, of course, you're part of another tech company. can you tell us a little bit about what insights can you give to our scholars that you wish you had known when you were part of building these companies?
Sure. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I think the biggest barriers for me were more or less mental, right? Because we live in a society where we're encouraged to learn by rote and almost everything is handed over to us. It's very easy for young people to lose sight of the fact that they have a lot of agency to change things around them and to start to solve problems around them. I was lucky in the sense that, when I eventually was able to get an education outside of the country, I was able to tap into my power in my ability to create things and build solutions to problems around me. However, I wish that much earlier in my life I was attuned to the reality of the fact that I have the power to look around me, identify problems, and change things. And if I didn't like something, I didn't have to accept it, and that I could rally people to change things around me. So, that's one thing I wish more young people understood.
You mentioned mental barriers, and do you feel like your education and the education that you were given helped prepare you for the work that you're currently doing? And what would you like to see currently that the young people can be taught? I want us to have a very open and sincere conversation here.
Sure. There were parts of my education that prepared me for the work I do today. So the work ethic, the understanding of the fact that grit and hard work is essential, the general dealing with obstacles. However, there were obviously parts that didn't, right? I currently work in the tech industry, and I studied law. So I'm as far apart from where I was starting from. And what it really boils down to was, it was not until much later in life that I was able to understand that I could solve problems. That the reason why I had an education was to solve problems. And perhaps if I had been given that focus a lot earlier, that we weren't just learning trigonometry so we could rehash it on the exam for the teacher, but so it could help us solve problems in the real world, then perhaps I might have gotten on a much more different path a lot earlier. So I think that's one thing that the education system can do better with, is helping people kind of see the environment and see that it's not just about doing well academically, but it's more important for you to be able to apply whatever you're learning to solve problems around you. That's what makes you successful.
Yeah, and thank you. That's what I was hoping that we would get to, is for our scholars, when all of us here who are talking and the panelists, we've all been through an education system, and it's important that when you're in school, you understand that when you get out of school, you're not going to be really doing exams. Education is about solving problems, about knowing how to critically think. Dr. Johnson, I want to go back to you. You have had the opportunity to do both the private sector and also the public sector. And you mentioned in an interview recently that Nigeria really needs to prioritize the development of STEM skills because we have such a huge, large youth population. From your experience being in the public sector and now going back out to the private sector, what do you feel needs to be done to make sure that we're positioned in that place?
That's a great question. I think that it's about interjecting STEM at every level of education. So really starting from the very earliest stages of education. And you can interject it in two ways. You can interject technology in the way that you actually teach. So bring a computer into the classroom, letting children experience, instead of just, like you said earlier, instead of just rote learning, let children experience and learn by experiencing things, that you can do that very well. Technology lends itself very well to that. So introducing it very early, experimentation, field trips, learn by experience at every single stage of the educational level. I think one thing that is actually maybe quite radical, I would say, is that because technology is so important, not even technology only, just STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, it's so important. I know when I was doing my O levels, and I think it's probably still the same now, you had to do maths and you had to do English. That was mandatory. I think we need to get to a point where we're introducing maths plus one other science subject. So you need to do that up to a certain level, because we have to get a workforce that is very comfortable with technology, whether it is IT or chemistry, but whatever it is. So introducing it, these are very practical things that could be done. Introducing the mandatory study of one of these science subjects up to O levels. I think the third thing that I would say is that, we need world-class tertiary institutions. We've talked very much about, if you let Bayo talk about artificial intelligence, he could go on for 2 hours, because he's very excited and passionate about it. But, not everybody has that opportunity to learn about AI, to learn about all the blockchain and all these different technologies that are affecting every single industry that you can imagine. And, not everybody has the opportunity to go abroad and study and have that sort of eye-opening, mind-expanding experience that you don't get in truth in many Nigerian universities, and that's the honest truth. So I think that we need to make investments, not just public or private sector. We need to make investments in building world-class institutions of science and technology and engineering, of course, that will enable students to learn, to build those world-class skills in those critical science and technology fields that are required for us to do all the things that we want to do. Innovation, entrepreneurship, research, all those things, we need to begin to do them with local skills and local resources. And the only way we can do this is if we have these interventions at every single level in the educational hierarchy, particularly when it comes to tertiary institutions. And finally, let me just also talk about, we always talk about, when we talk about STEM, we tend to forget that there's also a part of it that is technical, a technical vocation. And I just want to say that from the education system, we also need to emphasize these vocations. We can talk about all these very sophisticated technologies, but at the end of the day, somebody with maybe a lower level skill has got to install, the radios on a base station, has got to pull the fiber, has got to bring the internet into your home. These are not, engineering graduates. These are people that have these technical skills. So I think we need to also emphasize it. So building a workforce that cuts across the spectrum of both very high-end sophisticated tech skills and some of the sort of medium-end skills, but doing that in a way that you introduce technology and make it almost a natural way, so that English is what is taught in every single school, and everybody's got to have a degree, a certificate, an O level in English. Make technology or science, technology, and engineering and mathematics almost a natural thing for everybody to do.
Wow, I could see Mr. Okoro is taking notes. I was taking notes as well in terms of what you were speaking about. And what Dr. Johnson is saying is very, very key and is very pertinent, because I remember when I was in school, honestly, the last time I took math was when I was probably in year 10. And that was because I went to a liberal arts university in America where they didn't require me to take a math skill set. And I have to say, in so many ways, I feel very behind when it comes to technology and STEM, and even an opportunity to say, if I wanted to do a career, Johnson is saying is very important, in that STEM has become it's so penetrated into our society that in so many ways we should all have some sort of skill sets and knowledge in it. So thank you very much, Dr. Johnson, for those points. Hopefully we'll be able to make some sort of plans towards giving, the key sectors that need to be part of that to make sure it happens. I want to go over to you, Femi, and your ministry has done a great job in terms of creating innovation and also helping to help the underserved, communities that are rural, communities where they don't have access to, internet. What steps is the federal government taking towards ensuring that there's more access to the internet, and there's also opportunities for available, affordable devices in rural communities?
Thank you for the question. I talked about,
and this specifically pertains to online learning, just to kind of, yeah.
So the Nigerian National Broadband Plan that was launched in March actually focuses on a number of sectors, a number of aspects. We call them like sub-pillars or something. We have infrastructure, we have demand drivers, we have policy, and funding. So as part of the policy, right, what we're focusing on doing is to make sure that people can have access to the internet, to have broadband access. Yesterday, the minister released a press statement where he let the country know that the broadband penetration in the country has increased to over 45%. And last year it was 33, and when he took over, it was a little over 33%. So you see, there's been a lot of increase in broadband penetration over the last 1 year. The whole idea is to make sure that within the lifespan of the plan, 90% of Nigerians have access to broadband. And obviously, when we're talking about 90% of Nigerians, we have the rural community in mind as well. So we're working on some projects that will try to ensure that we can get fiber connectivity to every local government in the country. And it's important that when we have made this connectivity available, it's also affordable, because it's useless to have connectivity that it's not affordable. And one of the things we're trying to do is to make sure that the amounts that people have to pay for 1 gigabyte access is very low, something that people can afford. We talked also about equipment and tools. We realize that, one of the ways that we can make these tools affordable for Nigerians to obtain is by ensuring that we can get them manufactured in the country. So right now, the minister is supporting a number of indigenous companies to be able to create factories where they can manufacture the tablets, the phones, and make it in a way that's really, really affordable for Nigerians. So we're looking at it from different angles. We're talking about the broadband, we're looking at the skills, we're looking at the tools, just to make sure that people have access and they can become productive with that access.
Thank you for that. And you're right. The biggest thing is ensuring that it's affordable, because even if there's all the different options and opportunities there, if it's not affordable for every single Nigerian, then it's not a fair playing field. Well, I want to go to you. We've seen a huge wave of investments for tech companies and also SMEs. We all know what happened with Paystack, and also yesterday, Kuda Bank recently announced that they also had a huge investment. Now, a lot of the work that you do is preparation. And in one of your interviews, you mentioned that, you're building a social enterprise that will help SMEs prepare for investments. A lot of our scholars one day in the future, they're going to have their own companies, and they're going to need to make sure that they're positioned for local and international investments. Talk to us a little bit about this.
Yeah, thank you, Bolanle. So I actually have a non-profit social enterprise called Inotide that's supporting alternative energy entrepreneurs, particularly SME, build capacity. So we support them with things like business plans and getting investment ready for people like Dr. Johnson and Inyi, hopefully to put their capital in. But I think that assuming many young people will pursue their entrepreneurial track, I think it's important to mention that beyond the viability of any business model or idea, that ultimately who they are investing in is the entrepreneur themselves. So it's important to understand that investors also look beyond just commercial viability. But one of the major challenges we see is just their ability to attract that initial capital and build the sufficient networks and relationships that can help them attract that capital. And it's not necessarily about having connections, right? And one of the things I always say with entrepreneurship is also an alternative viable path. A lot of people who have come into the entrepreneurial game once worked in companies, once served behind the scenes. They've sort of gained experience of working in a corporate environment and reporting to other entrepreneurs. So you also have to understand that it takes a process. There's also the importance of mentoring on that process. So why exactly are you embarking on this entrepreneurial endeavor? A lot has been said around problem solving and actually having a viable market to serve. There's issue around, we could go into the full detail. There's so many issues around the proof of concept, the viability of your technological model. And I think it's important to realize that, everybody has jumped on the entrepreneurial bandwagon, but not necessarily everyone is cut out to be an entrepreneur. So it's important to balance this debate. So what we are mostly focused with doing in Inotide and supporting alternative energy SMEs is really about them scaling the hurdles that prevent capital. And I must also mention that the business environment has to be conducive as a whole, because investors are not just investing in the entrepreneur or the viability of the business model, but essentially they're taking a risk on the country and the environment in which that entrepreneur or that business works. Nevertheless, we're seeing the ability of many of these startup tech companies to attract funding. It must be said that a lot of them have involved international partnerships and collaboration. Some of them have been homegrown tech startups. Some of them have not necessarily been homegrown tech startups. And so we can't ignore the fact that we live in a global environment, and there's going to be a need to build sufficient networks to attract the pools of capital that we need. But ultimately, who you are and your experience as an entrepreneur does count. And I just wanted to quickly allude to something that was said before. You know, I remember coming out of secondary school, and we were made to specialize quite early on in our educational journey, right? Many of us were put in the commercial class or in the arts class. So like you, Bolanle, I feel you when you talk about just the lack of grounding in the STEM subjects. And if I had the opportunity to go back and rewrite that story, I probably would refocus. And I think there's a need to really understand where the future of our economy is, what the needs are, and what the potential diversity of routes it takes, whether it's vocational skills, whether it's STEM skills. You know, there was a recent LinkedIn survey of 20 million jobs, what the top 5 technical and hard skills and top 5 soft skills were or should be. And beyond things like, you know, AI and blockchain, I think the other skills from a soft skills perspective were things like creativity, persuasion, collaboration, adaptability, and very importantly, emotional intelligence was also seen as one of those big skills. So whilst we're all pushing the artificial intelligence and the blockchain and the AI, it's important that young people should learn to work with each other. They should understand how to work internationally, across borders, cross-cultural communication. These things are just as important.
Rolake, thank you. You know, as I'm taking notes, Rolake has made some key points in terms of it's not just about being skilled in terms of the actual know-how of the work. It's about being a well-rounded person and knowing how to position yourself so that when any opportunity comes, you're ready to play on a global playing field. I want to go over to you, Inyolua. I want to talk to you a little bit about projections that you have for tech and STEM roles. You know, what insights can you give to us? How can you give us expo? What suggestions would you have for our MTN scholars to make sure that, you know, when they're considering what long-term career goals they want to have, they're choosing the right ones?
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you.
Okay, fantastic. I think that, you know, as you think about career goals, I think my own broad suggestions is to think about what matters most to you and what problems you want to solve and what skills will put you in a position to solve those problems. What I don't typically recommend is to get, you know, stuck in a very defined career path. Like I said, I went to school for law, and I'm not doing anything remotely associated with law. Life is just really funny like that. So what's really important is that you identify for yourself, what kind of problems do I want to solve and what kind of skills do I need to be able to solve these problems? The beauty of our education system today, despite its failings, is that with the internet, you can learn anything. You don't have to wait for your university to be back out of strike. You don't have to wait for a teacher to teach you anything. You know, you don't have to wait for the education system to catch up. If you are willing to, with the help of MTN, make the investment in a mobile or laptop device and invest in some data, you will be able to access all the knowledge in the world because the vast majority of it is on the internet. So my encouragement is start building critical skills early. There's some skills that are basically like you can't avoid, unavoidable for anybody. So for example, communication is a key skill. You can't really avoid it. You have to be able to speak clearly in English or any other language you choose. You have to be able to write concisely and communicate with clarity about things that you believe in or things you want other people to do. You have to be able to persuade and clarify. These are skills that are critical regardless of where you go. And then depending on what you're focused on, you can then decide to learn other skills like web development. There are a lot of resources online for you to access web development resources. You can also learn about graphic design. You can also learn about all this stuff. This is what makes you financial analysis. These are what makes you indispensable to any organization where you choose to go. And it's far more important than being stuck in some idea of being a lawyer or a doctor or an engineer. Those are last century's career choices. Now it's all about skills and solving problems.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Iyola. I hope we have no lawyers or engineers here. No shade intended. But no, what Iyola was saying is communication, and just to place some emphasis on that, writing proper emails, knowing how to communicate with an employer is different from knowing how to communicate with your friend. And a lot of times, because we have so many we have such a strong chat culture, we intertwine that language and that narrative. So please ensure that you're prepared for that. And also in terms of what you said, I think knowing that while you're at home, I know a lot of people are at home and there's a lot of downtime. And I've been seeing in the chat that, have been suggesting different education platforms. So well done to you guys on suggesting that. It's true. I'm assigned into many, many different online courses, and I've learned that learning never stops. It doesn't matter how old you are, learning never stops. Baya, I want to go to you. I am still very fascinated by this artificial intelligence and your passion for it. And the reason why we must talk about it is that we don't want a situation where it's not being discussed in our communities and we're being left behind on it. I know you have a vision to build AI for society where artificial intelligence is effective in Nigeria, but it's solving our local issues. So we're not talking about artificial intelligence the way the West uses it. We're talking about artificial intelligence that will be effective in Nigeria. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Okay, thanks so much. I think young people need to begin to understand that with great power comes great responsibility. The fact that we're in this part of the world and we see this problem every day is the reason why we should rise up and boldly face them and ask ourselves, how can we translate our theoretical learning into practical use cases? How can we transform our agriculture, our health? Of course, we must just take responsibility. We cannot continue to speak excuses. We've got a lot of energy, we have power to experiment, and we've got a lot of vibrancy. We need to make it count. Looking around us, we need to look at what Dr. Mobola Johnson is doing, what Iyolu has done with Flutterwave and Andela. It means that we can look inwardly and solve our problems. And to be very frank, that is what is unique to us as MTN Nigeria. We are a truly Nigerian company that aims to support Nigerians to solve Nigerian problems. So when you hear us doing scholarship, it's not just that we want to tick the box, but we want to inspire Nigerian students to build global skill set that can solve local problems. And that for us should be one of the biggest takeaway from this session, that in us is the power to solve our local problem. And to be very frank, the world is already seeing what we are not seeing. I'm sure a lot of people are wondering when the CEO of Google, of GitHub, of Twitter, of Facebook came to Nigeria. These guys are seeing something. They are seeing a bunch of talents in their raw form who have got everything it takes to match and compete with anyone in the world. It's now for us to accept that responsibility and rise to solve the problem. So I want to challenge young people to look inward and say, okay, in the area of all the development, sustainable development goals, what can I do different? Social welfare, health, financial inclusion. How can I apply this learning to make the difference? And in terms of support, MTN is always there. Just to add to this conversation, in addition to what we do in scholarship, we have platforms that were provided for brilliant young Nigerians who want to experiment and explore. We have a program called ALDIC, which is Academic Research Development Innovation Challenge, to help academic researchers to translate their theory into practice in tangible terms. So if you are inspired, MTN is the brand to talk to. We have programs like internship, hackathons for young people to try and experiment and do things. And of course, if you are not yet part of those things, I want to challenge you to reach out and stretch yourself. That is beyond theory. The world is looking for practical. And in you is that capacity to make that difference, because you see the problem every day. Then you can be the person that can find the intersection between the problem and the knowledge you have to bring the solution to pass.
Thank you very much, Bayo, for that. Something that Bayo mentioned and also Inyolua mentioned, one key thing is that a lot of success comes in being able to solve a problem. Just want to make sure that, can everyone still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I believe I can.
Yes,
okay, great, thank you. So it's being able, one of the key narratives and the key themes that our panelists have been sharing with us. We want to let you guys know that we're going to be taking questions and answers very shortly. So please go ahead and send in your question in the comments box. If you can please do me a favor and write at the beginning of your question, the question specifically to which panelist you would like it to answer, and also just make your question brief and concise. We're not taking comments, we're taking only questions. All right, I want to go over back to Dr. Johnson. Dr. Johnson, something for me that we've talked about a little bit earlier is the role that gender plays when it comes to STEM. And of the 300 students that are being awarded scholarships today, we have 56 girls. That's just 19%. How can we get more young women involved in STEM? What can we do to ginger them so they understand that this is not a male sector? This is not only for men. We have as much right to be here.
Yeah, look, 19% is actually good compared to what I'm seeing in some other instances. So, but it's not good enough. It really isn't good enough. I studied engineering, and I was 3 in a class of 100. Go for 30 years, fast forward 30 years, my daughter studied engineering. She was 3 in a class of 100. So we really hadn't made a lot of progress. I think there are a number of things that we need to do to try and sort of rectify this. I think the first thing is, I said it earlier, we've got to start early, start introducing STEM early and not differentiating between boys and girls, because sometimes it's actually cultural, that you say that, engineering is not for girls or maths is not for girls. So we need to start early, introducing technology to both boys and girls and letting them know that STEM is fun, STEM is good, the future is STEM. I think that's one thing. For women in particular, I think it's about role modeling, because you see, the way that you experience life is through seeing. So if you see people, women that are, one head, 2 arms, 2 eyes, they're normal, and they are actually in these technology fields, as a young girl, you begin to think, well, I can do it too. So inadvertently, I became a role model because, I was Minister of Communication Technology, and I had studied engineering, I had done coding and all of this. And so when I spoke to young girls, I could speak to them from a position of experience and saying, it's fun, it's great, this is where the future is. The role model is really very important. And the other thing is really about culture. I mentioned it earlier, but I want to just emphasize it again. Because the culture that we have, that actually, and it's not just the culture that we have that says that science and tech is not for girls, it's for boys. It really is one that we need to work very hard to break. I'll just give a short anecdote. My daughter actually has an NGO, it's called AfroTech Girls, and what they do, 3 of them are engineers. What they do is actually support younger girls to get interesting careers in STEM, because they all have careers in STEM. And one of the biggest challenges they have all these different salutaries, competitions in schools, in public schools. They run these sort of coding schools on Saturdays. And of course, to do this with young girls, you've got to get the permission of the parents. And one of the challenges they had was that whenever they wanted to do this on Saturdays, they had to get permission from the parents, and the mother or the father would say, well, this is the day that, Ngozi or Mobile or whatever helps me in the kitchen, goes to market with me. And again, this is a stereotype, this is a culture thing. So how are we going to get them to say the market or the kitchen or whatever is not important? What is more important is for my young girl, my daughter, to learn how to code. So basically, it's getting rid of those cultural stereotypes, having more and more role models of women that are in tech. And for instance, in TLCom, we have 2 female founders, and it's fantastic. So we can actually showcase them that it is possible to be a female founder in a tech-enabled company. So that role model is really very important. But Ali, if I may just say one thing, because I know it's always good to have a mix of some diversity on your panels. And I don't know if you can see my gray hairs, but I have a lot of gray hairs. But I want to say something around I love what E and Rolake said about the future of work around. It's not so much about the hard skills, but it's about the soft skills. But the truth is that, we will still need those hard, engineering is still a career. Medicine is still a career, because we still need those people. But the difference is that if you're an engineer or a medical doctor, AI and technology has taken away some of the things that you used to do before. So that is where the creativity and the critical thinking and all those different innovations, that's where those things come in, because we're speaking to a group of scholars here. These are people that are going to be studying these subjects in school for the next 3 or 4 years. And I want them to know that there are many different jobs out there, but there's still some very traditional jobs, but those traditional jobs have changed because of what technology is. Technology has stripped away a lot of those things. But what you now need to have, in addition to those hard skills, are all those other soft skills that Rolake and Ely spoke about. So please, don't think that your career in engineering is over because of AI and blockchain and all that. Still very much there, but those soft skills are just more emphasized and more important. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Dr. Johnson, for giving us some insight. I think the key part that you mentioned is, again, the role that culture and an idea of what gender means and how that really does affect a young girl's future when it comes to STEM. If from a young age she's not given the same access to STEM, then of course by the time she's older there's going to be very little interest, and that's a key point. So when it comes to even having things like children's books where she's an engineer and she's the owner of a fintech company, we need to make sure that young women are seeing that every day. So thank you very much for that insight. Okay, so we're going to go into question and answer, because all of our attendees, they're like messaging and saying, Balane, we want to ask questions. All right, so the first question I have here is for Inyolua, and it says, as a fintech technocrat, what do you think about cryptocurrencies and blockchain, and how do you think one can join early enough and become an expert?
Sure. I mean, there's no question that cryptocurrency and decentralized finance, as well as blockchain, is the future of our industry. As a lot of during the protests, a lot of financing was done via Bitcoin because of restrictions that the government placed on donations from ordinary citizens. And so that kind of points to the future. I think it's a good idea to start to understand how these systems work. There's some really, really good resources out there. For example, there's a book called The Little Book of Bitcoin by a Nigerian Bitcoin exchange founder, Timi Ajiboye. It's a very good book for understanding kind of the basics of Bitcoin. Also, there's a huge demand for blockchain engineers. So people that understand blockchain enough to kind of create, protocols, and in order to understand the structure of different cryptocurrencies and the ability to do white papers. There's a lot of exciting new communities that you can join as well. So there's a lot going on in the Bitcoin space. It's open to anyone. No one asks for your age or your educational experience because everybody's new to it. So you can just kind of dig in and look for those communities and start to trade. I know a lot of people who trade Bitcoin, very young people, trade different cryptocurrencies and make a good living doing so. So I definitely encourage people to explore those. It's undoubtedly going to be the future of our financial system.
All right, thank you very much for that insight and that response, Amy. So I'm going to go to a question, and I think anyone on the panel who would like to respond to it, please feel free. It's a comment, and I think it's asking for some insight and advice. And I'm hoping that the response also helps everyone else. The comment says, I studied electrical engineering and I want to build a career around it. What software do I need to help push my career? I already have a company, #install Naija, that is also into electrical installation service. Can I call it a startup? And I believe the reason why he's trying to clarify this is knowing where the divide is between this term startup and if you start something that has to do with, technology or the sciences, how do you differentiate between that? Would any of our panelists like to take that question? Okay, I'm going to target you, Rolake. At least in terms of just general advice and tips, and then we can go into the nitty gritty.
Sorry, Balani, was that directed to me?
Yes, I'm saying.
I didn't hear the last part of the question. Yeah.
Okay, so let me go ahead and read it again. It says, I studied electrical engineering, and there's a technical part that I know it might not be your field, but if you can just give a general advice on how to go about this. So it says, I studied electrical engineering and I want to build my career around it. He now goes ahead to ask, what software do I need to help push my career? I know what the response is to that, but yeah. I'll let you answer. And it says, I already have a company, #install_Naija, that is into electrical installation services. He's asking, can he call it a startup? So just, I want to
generally, yeah. No, fair enough. Because, I always tell young people when it comes to building a career or business in a particular space, find people who are working in that space. That is probably the easiest answer I can give. And you need to be very intentional about and strategic about these things. Sometimes I'll be speaking to an audience and you want to go into electrical engineering. Do you know all the industry organizations or associations? Who are the key people working in that space? Can you name 2 or 3 books in your space or seminars that you can attend? Find a mentor. And then you need to also be realistic about what you can achieve. So you actually need a plan and find a mentor. And maybe this is where I link it to this whole idea of mentorship, right? Because I realize that we live in a society where places a huge premium on having connections, and people just assume if you don't have a connection, you can't get ahead. It's not necessarily true. I know there are aspects in which that may hold sway, but there are a lot of people willing to help out and willing to support with experience. And we're seeing a lot more organizations that support incubation or acceleration in specific fields. I'm sure Inyolu and Dr. Johnson will also have some comments on this, but I would start with actually finding people who work in that space and then looking at value chain opportunities. As an entrepreneur, you may work in a specific part of a sector, but are there related businesses in that sector that either supply that space or buy from that space? So that could be one approach. And then in with regards to actually finding a mentoring is what problem are you actually looking to solve? And what value do you bring to the table? How does this actually change the game? Have you done your basic homework? Do you have a basic business plan that can at least hold water? Are you a serious-minded entrepreneur? Have you done your work? Have you looked at the available market opportunities? All of these nuts and bolts, I think, will make it more likely that someone who's willing to support your journey will take you seriously. Those would be some of my recommendations.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Rolake. And I think very spot on. Research. I always say that you should not ask a question until you've Googled it. Google is your friend, and that's the very first foundation in terms of understanding the next steps that you need to take. We live in an information age. We have so much access to so much information. Bio, this question is for you. What is the place of AI in improving learning for people who are living with disabilities in Nigeria?
The beautiful thing about artificial intelligence, like we've said, is a catalyst and a complement. I'm glad to mention that there have been a lot of innovations around application of, a form of assistant or any form of enablement that can support anyone with any physical disability. For example, there is a particular one that can help you sense what is around you. There's many that are used for mobility already. That's been done very successfully. And, so there's a lot of innovation in that space. So I can assure the person who has asked that question that there's a lot of use cases that have already been done. But if I need to put a caveat, majority of the innovations that have been done are likely in the first world, in the US and the UK. India just started AI for social good around solving those kind of problems, which takes me back to where I started from. I want people from this scholarship cohort that will rise and say, we're going to use artificial intelligence to solve this problem, because it allows us to contextualize it. We understand how do people who have this problem, because technology is not an end in itself. It's the degree to which it is perfectly blended into the reality of the user. And that is why that user experience becomes very critical. So if people who are living in Nigeria can carefully look at the user journey, the everyday life cycle of someone who has those disability, and ask the fundamental question: where can AI enable, complement, support, assist? And then in those definite terms, we can start designing a solution, and then we can be very clear about what technology can do in specific terms. But the summary is that it is possible, it's already been done, but we need somebody to stand forward for Nigeria and make it happen.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Bayer. I hope that our participants are going to go away with a sense of agency in the fact that a lot of the problems we're seeing, every single one of us have the ability to solve it if we put our minds to it. There is a responsibility on us active individuals to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be. And that's why you guys are here. I mean, 300 scholars out of thousands that applied, it means that you all have the skill sets and the ability to do that. All right, so I have a question for you, Femi. And the question is, what is the Ministry of Communication doing to reduce poor communication networks in the tertiary institutions across Nigeria? Okay, let me go ahead and take that again. The question is, what is the Ministry of Communication doing to reduce poor communication network in tertiary institutions across Nigeria?
So, it's not restricted to just tertiary institutions. As part of the plan, urban plan, we want to improve 3G across the country. We want to improve 4G penetration across the country. So we believe that when we have that in place, connectivity will be improved. And when we improve the broadband connectivity as well, people can use normal fiber for connectivity instead of relying on their mobile phones. So, well, what we're trying to do now is just to encourage the telcos to go across the country. We're trying to make it possible for them to go build their towers, deploy their equipment in places that they don't currently have it, because we believe that will make it easier for people to connect, to reduce congestion, and to improve the quality of service.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Femi, for that response. I hope that answered your question. Dr. Johnson, I feel like I should ask you this question because, you seem like a straight shooter. And also you'll be able to give some advice on knowing how to navigate difficult situations. The question is, I'm currently studying computer engineering because my dad said I should. And the person is currently in 300 level. They're scared to leave school because they don't know what direction they're going to go into when it comes to that field. They have good grades, but there's a lot of fear. What words of advice would you give to prudence?
I think Rolake said part of it, which is really around reading around. But first of all, you study computer engineering. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you do want to be a computer engineer, work in that field. So that's the question. I'm assuming that you do, whoever asked that question. I think it's, look, you said it, Bolale, Google is your friend. You need to just look at what are the careers that are available or possible for somebody who studied computer engineering. And that's, you've got one rung on the ladder, a great step on the ladder to start off with. And I think, computer engineering can be so broad. And you mentioned something, computer engineering, you could actually go and do blockchain engineering. You could become a full stack software engineer. There's so many different options for you. And I think the first thing you need to do is actually to look online and see what are the possible careers for a computer engineer in this world. Number two, and the good thing about it is that you don't have to limit it to Nigeria. Because one thing about the future of work that we've seen with the pandemic is that, and also with companies like Andela, is that it's all about remote workforces, it's all about distributed workforces. So you can actually apply for jobs not in Nigeria and really expand your skills and obviously hopefully come back to Nigeria later. The second thing I would say is, you've got to look for people who are in that field. So basically, I don't know what the universities are like now, but if their career, and I'm sounding my age now, but if their career, whatever you call them now, career officers, I can tell you that. But even apart from that, Rolake said, I'm going to refer a lot to what Rolake said. There are loads of, right now, webinars conferences around careers, around STEM, around, you know, all these different technologies that are available today. Get online, get on those seminars, really feed yourself with as much information as possible. And that is when you begin to, you go on a journey of self-discovery. You begin to learn, you know, what is it that's available? What is it that I might do? What is it that I like? But the caveat I will put there is that you might not get your dream job or start your dream career on day one, but just stick at it, because it will come, it will happen. So really, that's really what I have to offer. It's really just getting online, getting get as much information as possible, and just look for what you might like doing.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Johnson, for that. And there are a lot of the response that Dr. Johnson just gave, and also Rolaka gave, when it comes to preparing yourself in terms of just generally as a skill set. A lot of questions have come. So if I don't take your question, it's because I feel like it has been answered. So we might not be targeting every single specific individual case, but just apply it to your situation. This is a question that I'm going to throw to Inyolua. Oluwatomi is asking, must every person have a computer skill which is more than just the basics? Do you think that we should all get to the point where we all know how to program?
No, actually, if I can be very frank. I think the world is already moving past programming. If you go online, we're now in an era of what we call no-code platforms. You can go Google what no-code platforms are. So many things are possible to build now without even writing a line of code. And I've actually tried out some of these platforms myself and built very simple workflows for myself, apps and stuff like that, without having to program. I don't know how to program. So that's where the world is going. But what would be important is your ability to design products that solve people's problems, your ability to leverage this data and insights to be able to identify what problems to solve, and how people want those problems solved. Those are not going anywhere. So I think it's better for people to start thinking much more broadly about what an engineering knowledge enables you to do, rather than just being very focused on programming, because programming is already clearly being abstracted. Right.
Thank you very much, Inyolua. I have one final question, I believe. And Bayo, are you still here? This question is actually for you. If we can possibly get Bayo on here. If not, we will just go. Okay, thank you, Bayo. And I just wanted to wrap it up, because I think it's important that people know exactly the work that MTN is doing, and how committed you are to making sure that this scholarship program is being publicized on a nationwide scale. And the question is, what is MTN Foundation doing to spread the awareness of the existence of the scholarship opportunity, and how can more people know about it?
Well, I think as a company, we are more excited about the impact, the cascade effect of this opportunity, that, you know, as students get benefited from this platform, we see the cascade effect, we see the positive social impact that this creates. And to a large extent, that excites us a lot. There's a website, MTN Foundation, where all the information are provided. But I want to believe that what will be our biggest narrative is the successes that will come out of our alumni, our students, who will go all out to promote, what the scholarship has done in helping them to achieve their dreams and in helping to shape the society. So as a company, we're doing the best we can do to tell the world about what we're doing. But for us, it's beyond what we say. We really want to see the impact. And we would really love the impact to speak for itself, because that's who we are at MTN. We'd rather create platforms and let the platform amplify, itself, when people can begin to see that this innovation is traceable to MTN, which is already happening. And those are the kind of things we want to talk more about. So I want to encourage our winners today, like Michael Des said, is through curiosity and looking at opportunities in new ways that we've always mapped our path. And that is what MTN has joined to create for you today. So don't wait for the right opportunity, go create it. And at MTN, we're there to support you everywhere you go.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Bayo. And on that note, I have to say thank you to every single one of our panelists. I learned so much just being part of this session. And I know that our scholars, the chat session is going crazy. There's so much communication and just reflecting on everything that has been said. So thank you very much, Inyolua. Thank you very much, Dr. Johnson. Thank you very much, Bayo. Thank you very much, Femi. Thank you, Rolake. Thank you to every single one of you that have been here and been part of this. We really appreciate it. And I hope to all of our scholars, I hope you took notes. But I would say the key thing, that the takeaway was the importance and the impact of making sure that you're doing as much research on your own and using that knowledge to really go out and be the best that you can be. Congratulations to every single one of you. I cannot wait to see what it is that you guys are gonna do. I'm gonna go learn a little bit of skill sets so I can compete on a global scale as well. I don't want to be left behind. And again, thank you very much to MTN Foundation for asking me to moderate this session. Over to you, Dakore.
All right. Thank you so much, Bolanle. That was an amazing session. But please, before we run, all our panelists, please stay back. We need to take a photo. It didn't happen if you didn't take a photo, right? We could all please just turn on our cameras so that we can all take a photo and then we can move swiftly along. All right. Okay. Me, I'm ready. I'm just gonna smile until it happens. Okay, we've been told to please wait. Okay, please be patient. I know you want to run off and get on with your day, but please, we need to take this photo. It's super important. Silent. Okay. Okay. Awesome. I think we can go now. Let's go. Please. All right, awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bolanle, again. And thank you to all our amazing panelists. Learned so much. I mean, right off the bat, I learned about working on our emotional intelligence, getting mentors, build your relationships, work hard, guys. There's no shortcut to success. You have to put the work in, and your journey is unique. Use all the available resources that you have online. Google is your friend. I say that all the time. And it's so key. You know, we need to take advantage of technology so we can move forward and be globally accepted and show them who we are as Nigerians, okay? We are excellent beings. All right, moving swiftly along, we're gonna have some music. We've been doing a lot of talking, a lot of brain power has been used. So let's just relax and just have a nice Muson saxophone interlude from one of our Muson scholars. Thank you so much. My apologies. Hello. Just having a little slight glitch, but we're back. Thank you so much for that saxophone rendition of We Are the World by Michael Jackson, which is one of my favorite artists, as I'm sure a lot of you here share the same sentiment. Awesome. We truly are the world. So let's always keep that in mind. That fireside chat was something else, wasn't it? I mean, insight, influence, and impact. That's what we were talking about, and they sure brought it. Thank you so much again to all our panelists. We really learned a lot. I learned so much. I'm inundated with so much information I now have to download, but I made my notes and I hope you all did. And I just want to welcome you all back because this is still our award ceremony, and what's an award ceremony without awards, right? So we're coming up to that, but slowly and surely we will get there. Right now, we're going to have our alumni pledge. This is not only an event for the scholars, but also our alumni association members. So we are starting with that before we get to the awards. I just wanted to whet your appetite a little bit to remind us of why we're here. So let's take it away right now with the alumni pledge. We're going to watch a video of the graduating scholars taking their alumni pledge as they are inducted into the alumni group. Enjoy.
I pledge
to use my knowledge,
talent and skill.
I pledge to use my knowledge,
talent and skills
to add value,
to add value,
to add value, to add value,
to add value,
to add value,
to be a change agent,
to be a change agent,
to be a change agent,
to care,
to care for my environment,
to contribute
to a better society.
most importantly,
and most importantly,
to make
positive difference
everywhere I go.
everywhere I go.
Everywhere I go.
So help me God.
Wow, that was so touching. That actually brought a tear to my eye. I don't know if there's any dry eyes in the room. Oh my God. MTN, God bless you. MTN Foundation, God bless you. Honestly, this is amazing. So anyway, we're going to continue with our impact story. We're going to have one of our blind alumnus to come up and tell us about their experience. And that is Trust Inose. Thank you, Trust.
and I am visually impaired. My name is Trust Shoninonse. I'm from Edo State. I graduated from University of Lagos. I am an MTN Foundation scholar, and I am visually impaired.
He was born normal. He was sighted as from baby till when he was like a year old. He started giving some itching. At times he said his eyes is paining him. So we took him to Ikeja General Hospital, where test was carried out. The doctor now looked at me and said, "Madam, only 5 things that he cannot do. Every other things he can do. I should go home, make sure he attend the best school, assist him." That is just the advice she had for me. As we were at home that night, I was in the room crying. So he walked up to me and said, "Mommy, why are you crying?" I said, "Can you see me?" He said, "No." "Is it because I'm not seeing? Is that why you are crying? Don't cry again. Relax your mind."
I am characterized by an individual who just loves ambition. Growing up, I grew up with self-confidence. I think that that's the pathway towards success. I just think of trying to be positive about life, treat people around me positively. Things like that has just kept me going.
When he was in primary 2, he came back one day. I said, "Mommy, I can read." So tell them to give me Bible portion. I want to read. It was from that point I started recovering that all hope is not totally lost.
Getting into uni, I'm like, you know what? I did this for 6 years in secondary school, but realizing the fact that I need to mix with people who are abled was not so much of a worry. It only drove me forward, say, you know what? If you've done it here, you can do it there. The friend told me, oh, there's this MTN scholarship, one thing, he has benefited. And I'm like, okay, let's do this.
So when he came, he told us this is what MTN Foundation have done for him. We are very, very happy, the family as a whole, and it really went far to assist the family, especially in his education.
I was really, really excited, and the prospect was really bright for me. And understanding that, okay, you know what, this is one burden off. It was exciting for me, and definitely it was something I was proud of.
It was a big relief. I never knew there's anything like that.
When MTN Foundation came along with the workshop, so I've always wanted to learn Google Ads, how to leverage on digital marketing. I'm like, yeah, this is what I needed, which of course, like, helps me in my career progression. So we started the NYC Pursuits. Where can I serve? Fortunately, leveraging on some connections of some people I know and people I met along the way in Mega Electric, specifically Lagos Stocks 91.3.
Looking at his CV, I was impressed because I felt like, wow, I know a lot of young people who are able, but they've barely achieved what this young man have achieved. When we meet people like that, whether living with disability or not, we give them the opportunity to vie for the job. And once they meet our criteria and we know they'll fit into our culture, we go ahead and hire them while providing enough tools for them to deliver on their job.
I served there for a duration of 1 year, and after service, so what's the next? Getting employed. The value I brought to Lagos Stocks 91.3 was good enough to say, you know what, we want you to continue, and bang, that happened.
Trust has successfully overcome whatever barriers you can think of in terms of work and life. Trust doesn't see disability. He doesn't indulge in self-pity. He doesn't want you to treat him as one who is disabled. You see him walk around the offices. It's like working with any other person. Some of us would have forgotten that he's visually impaired.
Never say die, and that's just it. Understand that no matter what it is, it could have been worse.
MTN Foundation, their work will never go in vain. There is nothing more I will say than to say thank you. May they continue to assist just as they are doing now.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Oh my goodness, I'm so emotional right now. Can we all just clap for him? Like, let's all just clap for Trust. Trust, you know, say, wow, like, oh my goodness, you succeeded and you're amazing, and we are so inspired by your story. See, there's no reason why we cannot achieve and accomplish what we're born to this world to achieve. If only we will look beyond our challenges and our obstacles and find that thing that pushes us, that makes us wake up in the morning. Fantastic. And God bless MTN Foundation. God bless you. All right, we're going to have another impact story from a STEM alumnus this time. And we have Peter Irewole Komolafe, a STEM alumnus. Take it away.
My name is Komolafe Peter Irewole. I come from a family of 4. I resumed in 2014 as a young undergraduate with ambitions to conquer the university system and come out in the first class.
My name is Mrs. Komolafe LT, mother to Peter Irewole Komolafe. I'm a teacher. I can describe Peter Irewole as special gifts from God to the family. As the name implies, Irewole.
Coming from a medium income to low income family, sponsoring the education of 3 students at the same time in a tertiary university is no child's play. My friends were trying to juggle resources to go around all of us. So it was not that easy and smooth.
Me and the daddy most the financial needs to bring him up as a scholar. Seeing the gifts in him, we keep on praying. At times, we fast, even the family. We have a specific day of fasting and prayer.
When I was in 211, I got the adverts for the MTN Foundation Scholarship from one of these WhatsApp groups. Then I put in my application. After writing the exam, I got the information that, guy, MTN don't release list though. How far? You don't check paper. The Guardian. I moved to the nearest vendor to get a copy of the paper. And upon that, I saw my name, number 3 on the list. MTN was my first scholarship, so the excitement, the joy, everything was there.
I could remember the fateful day. All of a sudden, I just received his call. Mommy, see what has happened. The MTN, they paid the money. We have even lost hope because the year was running out. Mommy, how much do you say my brother's WAEC money remain? Oh yeah, I will send some money now, knowing the financial problem we are facing that time.
I purchased some really important textbooks. Those textbooks, they are core to my course of study. Just during the convocation, a friend alerted me that he has an offer with so company. Sharp. Immediately I got home, me too, I sent an email. I'm interested in interning with your company. And to my surprise, the following morning, the company responded positively that, okay, I should come for an interview, just like that. I did not have any connection. I just went there, presented my credentials. I started my internship with them. Upon the completion of my internship, I was promoted to a full-time staff.
The moment we walked in, we could see someone that's ready to learn, because it is our job. Nobody can claim you know everything. You have to keep learning daily. Everything is doing for Pisces Offshore Limited. It's something that can only be achieved with that kind of spirit.
It was a training ground for me, connecting with people, getting to do real life work and not just conceptual work you do in school. Also at my workplace, I've been able to meet with fantastic people that they've been really impactful to my career.
One thing that really affects students in school is finances. And it's a very great thing that MTN Foundation was able to support him. It was able to merge his personality with that support. And that's what has helped him over time.
The future for me is exciting. Of course, I pictured this happening as a student, but I did not picture it happening this fast, just like MTN Network.
I really appreciate MTN scholarship program. The scholarship given to Peter Irewole has served as a means of relief to the family and is giving us bright hope for a better future.
Make the most out of the scholarship award, make the most out of the network. With that, I think the sky is your limit.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Fantastic. Oh, let's clap for Peter Irewole. That was amazing. I mean, it's so important to see these success stories. So it's not like we're just talking in a vacuum. You can actually see and testify that MTN Foundation is good. And they're just taking us from glory to glory and from strength to strength. A lifeline in a very desperate time. We all know what it's like when you're in university, struggling to put things together, and then you just have someone or company like MTN Foundation just swoop in and say, we're with you. We're going to give you a helping hand. It's so important. I'm so inspired by these two stories that we just watched. And to imagine that there are some of you right here now who are going to be singing this same song. You're going to be singing a victory song because MTN Foundation has come in to help and to make things better. So thank you so much again, MTN Foundation. We can't thank you enough. God will continue to strengthen each and every one of us to make sure that we can make an impact that will be lasting in our society and indeed in our country and in our world, because we're global now. All right, so at this point, we're going to have a video on MTN scholarships showcasing what is in store for the new awardees.
Welcome on board, scholars. Congratulations on being awarded an MTN scholarship. This is the beginning of a partnership for academic excellence, from admission through to graduation and process beyond. You've scaled through a rigorous 4-step selection process and emerged the recipients of the scholarships this year. You should all be very proud. The MTN scholarships are aimed at encouraging academic excellence. Our bouquet of scholarships consists of 3 pathways. The MTN Science and Technology Scholarship, which was launched in 2009. The MTN Scholarship for the Blind, which was launched in 2011. And the top 10 scoring candidates of JAM annually, which commenced in 2020. Scholarships are awarded annually until graduation, and as long as awardees stay focused on academic excellence and maintain the minimum of 3.5 CGPA or its equivalent. As an MTN scholar, you have become an MTN brand advocate. You will be required to represent the brand by displaying its core values of leadership, innovation, integrity, can-do, and relationship at all times. With this scholarship, you will have access to a unique learning model, access to platforms to upskill and acquire relevant knowledge to be employable and grow small businesses, access to webinars and workshops led by prominent industry leaders and entrepreneurs, access to platforms with networking opportunities. Upon graduation, you will go through a further upskilling to give you an edge in the world after school. Once you graduate, you will be inducted into the MTN Alumni, a robust network of like-minded dynamic youth just like you. This platform uniquely positions you with opportunities for constant self-improvement and to partake in entrepreneurial empowerment initiatives. Reach us via email on mtnfstss@mtn.com for science and technology students and mtnfssbs@mtn.com for blind students. SMS and WhatsApp on 0816 095 7993 and 0706 165 1316. Have a wonderful learning experience.
Wonderful. That was amazing. So I hope you guys are getting ready. I'm excited. Did anyone get any numbers, any emails? I'm seeing everybody on the chat here. It's such an exciting time, and you must remember that you did something special. Out of 43,000 applications, you are lucky, and that is amazing. You're not lucky, but you're also blessed, and you've worked hard for it, and you will be rewarded. Okay, so this is the fun part where we get to show our love to you by showing our congratulatory messages to awardees from their friends and families.
Hello everyone, my name is Oleka Samuel. Chidubemo Oleka is my younger brother and he's going to be an MTN scholar. I was very happy when I heard that he received the MTN scholarship.
My name is Kinu Daniel. Kinu Kemjo is my brother. The news about the scholarship came as a shock to me and my family. My advice for him is for him to keep up his good work and remain focused.
I'm Pastor Mrs. Alabi Dolapo, the mother of Tulu Animi Alabi. I was very happy when he told me about the award.
Hello, my name is Fokados Timebi Ifeoluwa. Fokados Oyimpire Tolulokbe is my brother. When I heard about him being awarded an MTN scholarship, it was wonderful news. I was ecstatic and filled with joy. Fokados Oyimpire, keep pushing for your dreams, keep working very hard.
My name is Obazono Uchenna, the mother of Obazono Tobenna Bob Owen. When he told me that he has made the scholarship, I was so excited and thankful to God. I encouraged him to keep it up.
My name is Adedayo Ajiboye. Adoluwawumi Ajiboye is that. When my daughter told me she was putting in for the MTN scholarship, I was skeptical. So when she called me a few weeks later to tell me that she had won, I was taken aback. Thank you, MTN, for telling us that things still work in this country.
My name is Deborah Gilbert. I'm the sister to Victor Chukwumela Gilbert, the scholar. My advice to him is to keep the vision alive, and he should know that hard work really pays.
My name is Samuel Obu. Israel Obu is my younger brother. Israel, I want you to know that I am so happy and I'm so blessed to have you as a brother.
The father of John Mary Chimoke. I feel delighted this day that my son is among the recipients.
Congratulations and jubilation, Okiki Odedino. We are very proud of you as a family. God bless you.
Thank MTN.
I'm very grateful to MTN for this opportunity.
I thank MTN for establishing this foundation.
I want to use this medium to thank MTN. Thank you, MTN, for this opportunity.
May God continue to bless them.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Massive congratulations. Look at the joy on the faces of your family members. I mean, look at the pride that you're bringing to your family. You should all be so proud of yourselves. Just before we move along, I want to make mention of two of our scholars that unfortunately are not well and can't be with us at the moment, but I'm sure that they are aware that they've won. John Moses from the Department of Special Education of the University of Jos in Plateau State, and Okorie Christiana Nkadakuku, I hope I'm saying that right, Sociology Department, University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Enugu. Congratulations, and we hope you get well soon. All right, moving swiftly along, we're going to have the collage of the scholars. So we're going to have all our scholars in a collage so you can see our lucky MTN Foundation scholars. So exciting. So exciting, so exciting. I'm so happy for each and every one of you, as if it was my siblings or my friends. I mean, you guys really worked hard and you deserve it. Apologies, but earlier on I mentioned two names, John Moses and Okorie Christiana. I erroneously thought that they were taken ill, but I've been informed that they actually passed away. And I really would love if we can all just observe a moment of silence for John Moses and Okorie Christiana, who are recipients of the MTN Foundation Scholarship Award. But unfortunately, they're not here with us now. So please, a moment of silence. May God in his infinite wisdom comfort their families. I cannot imagine how hard it is to raise up a child to this point and lose them for whatever reason. I'm a mother of two daughters, and I can only imagine the anguish that these families have been thrown into. So please let us keep them in our prayers and remember the futility of life. Just keep on moving and stay strong. Wow. Okay. So for our closing remarks, we will have Mr. Adekunle Adebiyi, who's the Chief Sales and Distribution Officer for MTN Nigeria.
Okay, thank you very much, Dakore. I think the job is pretty easy. The most difficult part of the job today has been done by yourself, by the representatives of the honorable ministers that were present today, by the rectors and the vice chancellors, the provosts and the deans of students affairs of various schools who were also present. I can never ever thank you guys enough. To the chairman of the chairman of MTN Nigeria, Engineer Ernest Ndukwe, the chairman of MTN Foundation, Prince Julius Adeluyi, OFR, MNI. We can never ever thank you enough. I mean, thank you for teaching us how to grow. Thank you for not just teaching us how to work for MTN, how to be responsible citizens. Thank you also for paving the way of how to be leaders and leaders indeed. And this is to our chairman. To MTN Nigeria CEO, Freddy Mulman, and other members of the MTN leadership team that were present on this program today. We cannot ever thank you enough. To the directors of the MTN Foundation, I saw the directors on the program as well. Thank you so much, and the directors of MTN Nigeria as well. Thank you so very much for finding time out of your very busy schedules to be part of this program. To the panelists, I mean, thoroughly amazing. I mean, it's unbelievable. While the program was going on, I think the lady who anchored the panelists, the fireside chat program, did say that she might want to go back to school, while our Dr. Bayo Adekombi was talking about artificial intelligence. She said she would like to go back to school to compete. I think what Bayo needs to teach us also is that for those who are in their 50s and 60s, is there hope? Because the way of work in 10 years is not going to be what it is today. Is there anything that these oldies can still learn? I think we need to consult Dr. Bayo on this one. And to Dr. Johnson as well. I think I'm proud to say she's our Dr. Johnson because she's also a member of our board of directors. And I mean, every day now I'm learning that she's actually a woman of so many parts, thoroughly brilliant and exceptional. Thank you so much for those words of wisdom. Thank you for letting us know that, you know, what men can do, even women can do it much, much better. To our friends in the media, I think I already have started seeing snippets of today's program, even on Instagram, on Twitter, BHM, and the rest of those people that are streaming this as it was going on. We can never ever thank you enough. To the awardees of today, I mean, you guys are. I can tell you for a fact that you are in the right place, because you are not only the beneficiaries, even those of us that work for MTN. It's almost difficult to find a better place, because MTN is everything to even those of us that work there. The training, the learnings, the challenges of everyday living, and how to be upright and corporate citizens. These are things that you cannot buy in the market with money. So thank you so much, MTN, for being part of the development of this country. Thank you for your commitment to Nigeria. Thank you for investing in the youths of this country. I mean, if the youths constitute the highest percentage of the population of the country, and we all agree also that the youths are the future of Nigeria, come on, what else? I mean, investment in youth is actually the right investment. Thank you so very much. Also, let me also thank MTN also for giving us the best data quality. You will see that today's program was seamless. I mean, it was easy to listen, it was easy to hear, it was easy to comprehend. There were no issues of let me start all over again. It was just very awesome. I can say for a fact that, the panelists today all use the MTN data. So should you need to also upgrade for whatever reason, please do not hesitate to contact us. I'm sure you heard my title. I'm the Chief Sales and Distribution Officer, and of course, we will deliver to you wherever you are in Nigeria. So you can also start to enjoy the full benefit of the best data network in Nigeria. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I thank you. Thank you, Noni, the Executive Secretary of the Foundation as well, and your team for putting this program together. I think it's indeed awesome, and I am proud today, as always, to be an MTNer. As you go back to your respective daily chores, God will continue to be with you. Remember, the pandemic is still out there. Please stay safe everywhere you stay. Thank you very much. Have a blessed afternoon.
Thank you so much. That's amazing closing remarks. Today, and I want to say a big thank you to MTN and MTN Foundation for putting this entire program together, for this scheme that we're doing where we're helping to support our young people to be the leaders of tomorrow. God bless you. I would just like to leave with, just keep on believing yourself. Identify the things that you are naturally drawn to. They are clues to what you can become in life. Always make sure you work on your emotional intelligence as well as your skill sets so that you're a well-rounded individual, and just continue to add value wherever you go. Thank you so much to MTN. I'm a proud MTN ambassador and a Nigerian actor, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to have been your host today. So God bless you all. Stay safe and stay protected everywhere you go and everywhere you stay. God bless you. Mwah.
Hi everyone, my name is Divine Watu. Chisonwat is my sister and she's going to be an MTN scholar. I was so happy when I heard the news and I pray she continues to grow from strength to strength.
Isaac Peter, father of Henry Sochima Isaac, who just won an MTN scholar. I feel very proud when I heard about the news. I am advising him that he should maintain the good grade so as to retain the scholarship.
My name is Chada Didi. Background is my brother and just got awarded the 2020 MTN scholarship. When I heard about it, I was very proud. And my advice for him is that he keeps the flag flying, keeps making the family proud, and keeps moving from strength to strength.
My name is Mr. Joseph Essien. In short, Joseph is my son. He's going to be an MTN scholar. I feel great and I'm excited. He should keep on. I'm proud of him. Yes, my advice for him is to pursue his goal.
Hello everyone, my name is Manuel Adelo Adegoke and Joshua Adegoke is my brother. I was so elated the day he eventually showed me the congratulatory mail, and we are all very proud of him at home.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, that's everyone telling you how proud we are. And then once again, bro, I want to say congratulations. I'm in Cloud9 right now. Just to know that you just got this scholarship. I want to let you know that just keep being the man you are. Keep up with your academic record because the sky is your stepping stone. Congratulations once again, bro. I love you.
My name is Kenneth Ifeanyi Chukwuokoro and I am an MTN scholar, a new one. This is really an amazing day for me. I'm so happy, I'm so grateful, I'm so excited. Thank you MTN, thank you everyone who is making this possible to spur me to do more.
My name is Alpha and I'm Ina's brother. I actually felt very, very happy because I knew how much she had to work toward it. I knew how much work she had put into it. I knew how she stayed up sometimes at night to try and make sure she was able to complete some exercises and try and reach for this exam. So I know how much it means to her. If I have any advice to give her, yes, I want to tell her this is just the start of many, many big things to come. She should keep on doing what she's doing. I'm very, very proud of her. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Abisola Christiana Bolaro, and Victor Oladewa is my brother, and he's going to be an MTN scholar. Yippee! Okay, I knew when the whole exam process was going on, and when he told me he got the scholarship, I was so glad. I want to use this opportunity to tell you how much I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you, and I know you're going to do great things. Okay, congratulations.
Olushola Benga is my name, and Olushola Samuel is my brother, and he's going to be an MTN scholar. I'm so happy when I heard about it that he was able to make it. I'm so glad he actually made us proud, and I believe that the sky is not even the limit. It's the starting point for him. And my advice for him is this: he should keep on pushing. That which he knows how to do, he should keep on doing it.
My name is Mrs. Oluchi Nkwocha. Lucky Nkwocha is my son, and he was recently awarded MTN scholarship. When he told me about the scholarship, I was so happy, so excited. My advice to him is that he should keep the flag flying.
MTN are proud of you.
I say a big thank you to MTN.
Thank you so much, MTN. We love you, we love you, we love you.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Okay, one more last photograph with our MTN executives, please. Can we do that? One last photograph. Can we have all our MTN executives for a last photo up? Okay. Okay, we're just gonna smile until. Am I supposed to smile? I don't know. I'll just smile regardless. Okay, are we done? Did we get it? Let's see. Let me get the chat. Did we get it? Okay. All right, awesome. We got it. Thank you. All right, have a wonderful rest of the day, everyone. God bless. Bye.
Superstar.
don't get a lot, God the win. And I don't pay my rent, God the win. There be one for my hand, but God the win. There be one keep my joy, but God the win. I say anything them do, now God the win. No, now God the win. No, now God the win, no. Anything them do, now God the win. No, now God the win. No, now God the win, no. I don't change my name to God the win. And no more, I don't buy more to God the win. They say my market no go sell, but God the win. And then me say I no go blue, but God the win. Them my brother, let them try their luck. My God go win, no my God go win, no my Lord go win, no. Anything I do, now God the win, no now God the win, no now God the win, no. As you don't pass exam, now God the win. And then me say you no go pass, for God the win. You wake up, see today last song, now God the win. Robbers they rob, they no see you, brother. They no see you, my sister. Oh yeah, better fast. God the win, no now God the win, no now God the win, no. Anything I do, now God the win, no now God the win, no now God the win, no. As now your wedding day, now God the win. And he don't tell where you dey find, but God the win. See we go pop champagne today, God the win. And we go dey dance, cause God the win. Oh, anything you win, now God the win. And if you win election, my brother, God the win. Like if you win the contract, my friend, God the win. And if you check the countdown, my brother, God the win. And if your market say now God the win. No, now God the win. No, now God the win, no. Anything I do, now God the win. No, now God the win. No, now God the win, no. Why you no go dance, now God the win. No, now God the win. No, now God the win, no. Anything I do, now God the win. No, now God the win. No, now God the win, no. God the win.
Welcome back.
You don't hustle tire. You know they take you holiday. You write application, you go for auditions, but still, it be like saying no they pay. They don't laugh you tired. Some say, stay until your mate get the aeroplane. Before you go make calm, you beg God to make calm, but see, everybody getting late. So my brother hustle, so my sister work. No condition lasts forever, your own turn become. So my brother hustle, so my sister work. Beans you know they cook forever, your own beans go down. If you see person will make a more rejoice with them. If they ask you what's your no, take no offense. See this life better, know your time they come, because no be only you kill Jesus. We plenty for yeah.
You say, myself, I won't get on.
my brother hustle jare. So my sister walk. Beans no they cook forever. Don't beans go down forever. If you see person they come home, and if they ask you what's up, no. See this life and turn by turn, no. The time they come, not you kill Jesus by yourself. Show me person how they walk, oh. Now the person will go jump if he no give up. See this life that turn by turn, oh. Your time they come. We plenty for them.
We plenty for the matter.
We plenty for them.
No let your hopes scatter.
ẹ ọsùn ẹ má ṣọlẹ ọlẹ ò dá o.
No be only you kill Jesus. We plenty for them.
Icon, greatness,
Connie, sir. DJ Neptune, Joe Boy Ponday. Charlie, I'm a bad boy, but you know the love I go give, not the mad one. 100% you not find one, and you know the boy give the light, what an icon. Baby girl, go low, see my eyes on, yeah, hey. I know you don't feel my vibes, oh, tete. Baby, I know you be the right one, and nobody come close, nobody nice one. You was in a corny, no go do you corny. Bounce, bounce, jiggle low, baby, take it slowly. Tell me how you want it, put the body on me. Hands down, you're the best of the best. The rest, rest, take a rest. I don't wanna hear shit. I don't wanna hear say you there with another man. Okay. I'm on everybody, oh baby, oh baby, shake it, oh baby, my shake. I don't feel you go feel it, baby. I don't wanna hear shit. I don't wanna hear say you there with another man. The way you want to do it, I'm not like I'm gonna see with another man. I don't wanna hear shit. I don't wanna hear say you there with another man. The way you want to do it, I'm not like I'm baby girl, I really wanna put you on. T-shirt, shit you go pull up like a handbrake. You know, say everything they ready preset. And see my pull out. Game make you crazy, your booty beauty full of hot body, but you know the girl is coolo. You know me, I'm a king, so I rule. My vibe from the south, papi chulo. Baby, make I talk true. I put your leg to the right and another to the left, like it's kung fu. Like me, I like you, and nobody could do what I'm gonna do. So what you won't do? Nobody, nobody.